Welcome to another episode of Laois Talks. We have come out to the beautifully blue-skied Ballykilcavan out here. It's just gorgeous day. It's like a summer's day out there and it's cold. And I'm joined today, and I'm going to go around the table now, so I'm going to start on my left by...
David Walsh Chemist, co-owner along with my wife of Ballykilcavan Farm and Brewery.
There's the brewery. That's the brewery part. It's great doing the podcast in the brewery.
Paddy Buggy.
Again. Sorry, Paddy.
And Kevin Scully from the Merry Mill Porridge business just down the road.
So these are all Laois producers. We've all the Laois producers on today for this podcast version. So if you've got questions or you want to ask any questions of any of the producers here, are all going to be listed in the show notes. Everybody here will have a link to whatever their website is or whatever their outlet is, particularly the Merry Mill out there, who has a very big online business, haven't you?
Yeah, we've really pushed out in the online market. So about 70% of our business now is online, where we deliver direct to the customer from our farm, which has been working really well.
And that's just from COVID, really?
That's COVID really drove that, yeah. Before COVID, I presume we're around 35%. And then COVID just drove on that when the shops all shut down, panic set in, people went online. We got a good slice of market share, and thanks to everyone who stayed with us since it all opened up. It has been really good for our online business, and it's a great job, like, because it's the food goes straight from our farm straight to the table. There's no middleman, so for the carbon footprint, it's actually really good as well, straight to your farm to your table.
David, how much of your business is online? I mean, it's an alcohol business. Can you do that?
No, at the minute we can't because we don't have the license here, but what we can do is sell to retailers who have an online shop. So actually, again, at the start of COVID, like, the online thing went completely mad. Cans in particular, because they're much easier to ship. And yeah, so we were selling to online distributors. They were able to send them out to people because people were at home, people still wanted to drink, and that was the best way to get it. The pubs were all closed.
Yeah, and is there a way that you can move it online? Or
yes, I mean, so the building we're in at the minute now, this will be the tap room eventually for the brewery. So basically visitors will be able to come in here, do a brewery tour, come back out here and have a few samples. But the license that we're going to get to cover that will also mean that we'll be able to sell online. So at that stage then we can start doing direct sales. Okay,
and would you expand the business? Would you expand your range to suit an online? Would you change the size of the cans or something to make them easier to ship?
It depends where, I mean, the cans work quite well for us at the minute. What we find is on the continent people are looking for smaller cans, but actually in Ireland people seem to be quite happy with the 440ml cans, so that works quite well. It just, they stack really easily. They're not glass, so they don't break, and it just means they're easier to ship.
And a very colourful exterior.
They are, and again, with cans, when we started the shift into cans, we work very well with Penhouse, who are just up the road from here. Great team up there who did the graphic design for us. But cans have to look sexy. They have to look different on a shelf, because you'll walk into some off licenses and you'll see literally a wall of beer, and you have to be able to be attracted to the can in the first place for people to even pick it up and have a look at it and see what beer is in it.
And from a business perspective, is there anything in Laois that can be done to help you guys move this forward? I mean, I know, like, you're all farmers as well, right? So behind the scenes, behind the business bit of it, there's massive farms that need to be attended to. Is there something we can do here?
Well, this actually, what we're doing this morning is a great step, because you can have the best product in the world. If no one knows anything about it, no one's going to buy it. So it's really marketing from our perspective. It's getting the word out what we have in Laois. Like, we've some super producers of really good quality products here. But, like, you could meet someone in Timahoe that mightn't even know what I'd be at in Vickerstown, and I have actually recently. You know, you make porridge, and it's where you live in Timahoe. Like, and I'm at 5 years, and the world hasn't fully penetrated Timahoe. There's a porridge manufacturer, and that is the challenge. So stuff like this is brilliant. It's baby steps, but this is what we need to be doing. We need to be talking about Laois produce and make more people aware of it.
Well, my eyes have been open today. I mean, I'm looking around at the range of things that's in hampers here. You know, just knowing there's 23, 24. Jim was talking earlier on about 23 or 24 producers in Laois that didn't know they were all producing. You know, Laois didn't know that they existed either, because we only, as consumers, we only get to see the end product. So we only get to see the thing on the shelf, and a cursory, quick glance at some colourful cans on a wall. And that, you know, you kind of go, oh, yeah, look at that. That looks like an Irish name. Because do you find that a lot of the other producers out there that aren't from Laois, maybe even aren't in Ireland, use an Irish name on their product, or use something that sounds remotely Irish on their product to compete with you?
Oh, completely. Oh, sure. Like, in my market, there's a huge amount of porridge on the market that looks like it's Irish. There's only a handful of actual Irish mills in the country. You count them on one hand. But there's about 30 different products that sound actually and look more Irish than my own product. There's no part of the product has been made, not even from the packaging to what's in the bag, none of it has been made in Ireland, but it looks more Irish than.
And from a farming sense, Paddy, What can we do? What sort of supports can we put in to make an Irish producer like these guys are pure Irish producers, but they're also Irish marketers. They also have to run businesses that are selling products to the end user and farm all those products out of the ground as well. Is there something we could do there?
No.
No, nothing. Let it run.
Listen, people are doing it for themselves. Helen G here today, and she's part of the Laois producers group. So the producers themselves have come together to start doing that. They realised themselves that they needed to do that. And I suppose one of the things where one of the hats I wear is I manage commercial kitchens in Mount Mellick Development Association. So we have the infrastructure in place for guys who are starting off in the food business. And we have 5 commercial kitchens there. And there's different people come in, they grow their business. The reason they come to us is because we have the infrastructure in place, that they're not borrowing. Everyone here will tell you about the hundreds of thousands that they've had to invest in their businesses. If you're starting off with a new idea, and this is where we can help Laois producers starting off, we have those commercial kitchens in place that you can rent as you need them. So you're not tying up a lot of capital that you don't have, because when you're starting out, banks won't loan to you. You have to have a kind of a proven track record before they'll want to talk to you. And in fairness, we do have supports in Laois, because I used to be on the board of Leader in Laois, and I would have seen different applications coming in from different producers in Laois, and we were always delighted to support any producer like that coming in that had new ideas, new food products coming on stream, or new business ideas. And there was always good money there. Now, granted, there was a lot of paperwork, and everyone around the table who's had a Leader grant will tell you there's a lot of paperwork with it. But having said that, you're getting a great head start to get your business up and running. And in fairness, in Laois, we've always been very prudent with money coming in to invest in proper businesses, and the businesses themselves have been very prudent in how they've spent the money as well. So from that point, we are actually doing a lot behind the scenes. And maybe you don't see it because we don't really talk about ourselves in Laois that well. You know, we look at our shoes and we go, sure, anyone could do it.
But I think that's the same for a lot of I think, but it happens a lot more in Laois though. We're very reluctant to promote ourselves, you know, to make ourselves feel like big guys. You know the way the Americans do it. You know, I'm the best at what I do, man. How do you know? There's this kind of brashness about it. We lack that, but you don't. I don't think David here does. I think David is very quick to promote himself.
I think just to go back to what Paddy was saying, I mean, I have to say, Leader have been incredibly supportive for us here. They helped us put the brewery together. They're helping us put the visitor centre together. It wouldn't have happened without them. They've been very good on that front. The local enterprise office has been very good as well. County Council have been very good. Like, all these buildings around here are heavily listed because they're 240 years old. But they appreciate the fact that we need to do something with the buildings to be able to keep them standing and to be able to make money out of them. So that's, they've been very helpful on that side of things. I don't see why. I mean, I'm born and bred. Actually, no, I'm born in Dublin to my shame, but I've been living in Laois for the rest of my life. So
part-time Laois.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I've been here for apart from the first 3 days of my life, I've been here in Laois. I don't see any reason why shouldn't we be as proud of Laois as anyone else is of anywhere else. It's a fantastic place. It's like great people, great lifestyle. In terms of like a pure business thing, our location is actually very helpful because
if we need to,
we are, yeah. I mean, if I need to get beer into Dublin, that's fine. If I need to get beer into Cork, that's very straightforward as well. It's easy to get to all parts of the country. Motorway network going through us. From a tourism point of view, the tour operators all look at us and they say, oh yeah, you know what, that's really easy to get to because, okay, they're not maybe spending 3 or 4 days in Laois yet. Let's try and get them to that stage. But at the minute, they're at least passing through the place to go to somewhere else, and they will come off and they will visit us because they want to break on the way down. So all these advantages that we have, we need to start promoting.
And you have
them.
this yard that you can do things.
We do.
There's a massive yard here beside us.
There is, absolutely. So, I mean, for us, the next 2 years, obviously we're still going to build the beer brand. We've just bought 6 new fermenters. We're literally doubling the capacity of the brewery because the fermenters are all full. We need to be brewing beer and we can't because we don't have anywhere to put them. So we're expanding the brewery.
This is a good thing.
Well, it is a good problem. Yeah, I mean, they talk about good problems to have. That is a good problem to have. It's better that than the other way around. But then on the other side of it as well, it's very much on the tourism and events side. So tourism, based pretty much on come in, have a look at the brewery, come out, have a taste of beer, buy a 6-pack and back in your car and bus and away you go. And then the event side, it's pretty much limitless because, and again, it's not just here. There's lots of other great places in Laois, great venues that we can promote. But we have the outdoor space, we have the clean air. people are looking for, particularly at the minute, people are looking for outdoor spaces. They're looking for
and an experience.
Exactly, it's
experiential.
experiential. Yeah, everything in tourism has for a long time been experiential. It's now increasingly, as in food production, it's now increasingly about sustainability as well. We can definitely promote that very easily in Laois. We don't have to make it up. We can just tell what we're doing, and all of those things come together to make it a really important place to come to.
And the Merry Mill now is just scratching his head thinking, how can I get the tourists into this going?
But going back what we said, I think in Laois there's always been this concept of don't get ahead of yourself. We haven't been great. Like, we are improving, but there's a mindset in Laois. Why would you be at that? Or don't be getting ahead of yourself now. Don't know your station in life, like, you know.
Yeah.
So now, in fairness to Helen Cheese Jams here this morning, she's been really a shining light in the food for years, really out there shouting loud of what she was doing, and she was a great, definitely role model for us coming into the business scene. Like, Helen can do it, well, we can do it, you know. So you need people like that to inspire you, and she's definitely done that for our operation.
And is there a chance of, or is there a way you could expand to have tours coming to your area?
Yeah, we have huge demand actually, and we took in a few this year because we have customers in America, and then they landed over and they wanted to come down, and we're saying, like, we don't do the tourist experience, but then you have to, because they're after coming from America and they're after buying porridge in New York. You take come on down, and then it's great.
Sign
actually.
My bag,
and
something.
then they're going, oh wow, and it grows on like that. It doesn't grow in a bag. Like, it's just. It's actually good as well. I really like that aspect. So we are actually looking at doing farm tours going forward as well. It's definitely part of the business model, because we get so much inquiries about what we're doing, and it's micro milling. There's so few mills doing at our level of milling for people to come and see something actually grown, milled, bagged, all on the one little farm. There's a uniqueness there that seems to be an interest in it, and sure, we'll let them come and visit and have a look at us.
Yeah.
Speaking of tourists, I'm reminded of the guy over in Durrow, and I can't think of his name, who grows the vegetables. This Texan came over to him anyway, and he picks up this head of cabbage, and your man says to him, "Put down that Brussels sprout." So we are copping on to ourselves here, you know.
It's funny, like, we're in a position now where everything is growing, but COVID is holding us back, right? So, you know, we can feel another kind of a lockdown thing starting to happen again. Now, I know that doesn't affect so much the online business. It actually drives online business more. But is there something to look forward to for 22 that we can start thinking about now when COVID disappears eventually?
There's huge demand. I mean, we were on a virtual tour, and again, it was meant to be in person, but got pulled to virtual trade show with the tour operators last week, and there's huge demand, pent-up demand for people to come to Ireland, particularly North Americans. So I think as soon as they are allowed to travel and get back into the States again, that'll be, you know, there'll be a lot of people looking to come to Ireland. For what we are doing here, we're doing a lot more outdoor tours. We're, you know, doing things, basically keeping people outside as much as possible. We're lucky that the brewery is very well ventilated. Like, we can open the doors in here. It is cold. It's cold. Heaters are on. It's still cold. But you know, so you know, you just have to adapt, and everyone has adapted. And hospitality's had a particularly rough time over the last 18 months. But unfortunately, that's what it is. It's adapt as much as possible, and then just hope that things are going to improve in terms of people being able to travel.
Yeah, like, hopefully, like, we would have done a lot of festivals with our operation. We'd be doing the electric picnic all together now, body and soul.
You'd have a stand at them. Is a stand?
It was a lovely part of our business because it was the fun side as well. It was really good for marketing, but it was great crack. Like, geez, we missed them badly. Like, and hopefully 2022 will bring some normality back to that side of our world, really, like, you know, because people need that. You need an outlet. Like, we even see our business, like, it's like Groundhog Day. You just go up every day, we have a millstone around our neck, literally, and, you know, you get wore down. You need to get back to the public, and there's nothing as nice as sitting out in a big field at a festival, maybe drinking one of David's beers and after a bowl of porridge, chatting to some of your finest customers. And so it's such an important part of the fabric of who we are. We're such a social being in Ireland, us as people, and we like a bit of fun. So I'd be definitely hoping that we'll get to at least one or two festivals.
Because both of you have mentioned today that you're at full capacity.
Yeah.
Both of you, you've said the same thing. You need to expand to make more. You've done the same thing.
Yeah, no, and there's a great appetite. There's a great appetite for quality Irish products. Like, it's there, which is great to see. So yeah, it's really encouraging. The market in front of us is really encouraging going forward. So we just need a bit of fun tied into it now as well, and then we'll have it all.
Yeah, especially on a day like today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we've organised this obviously for you guys coming out here. It does. No, I mean, everywhere obviously looks better with
The power of a brewery.
That's the things we can do,
Makes all your dreams come true.
Yeah, one way or the other. It happens every time. Right, we'll be back just after this. So welcome back. We have changed around who's on the table at the moment because we have more business to get through. So I'm joined by
Helen G from G's Gourmet Jams and Abbey Leaks.
Eamon Callahan, Vision 85.
Brian Brennan from Moore's Drinks.
more producers, more leash producers. And like it's amazing to me. Jean, you were talking to me earlier on about how many producers there are. Or sorry, Helen. My brain can only think of Jean's Jams now for some reason. It's just like, I'm stuck in that moment. Helen, sorry. You were talking to me earlier on about how many producers there are in Laois. I mean, how many is tied up with you now in hampers over here and things behind us?
Yeah, that we have 23 Laois food producers and drink. Now there's drink and food together. We have the True Breweries, we have Moore's Drinks, and we have Brew Water from Ballykill, and we have Rose Cottage. So they're the drinks.
We're not alcoholics.
Not alcoholic.
It's not all alcohol.
And then we have the chocolate, and we have all the goodies. We have the Merry Mill, of course, over there has been with us the whole time, and Michael Olami from. He's over in Mount Mellick, but he's originally from South Africa. So we have quite a lot, really.
But you're not waiting for anything to happen. You're just going to do this yourselves. So you're all getting together to do things at markets.
Yes, and we have a Laois Taste stand in Portlaoise every Friday, and we have all the products. We can't do the beer and the drink. That's the only thing drawback.
It's a license.
We need a license, yeah. But maybe if we had a license, we might be drinking it. So that might be a problem. But and it's going really well. And we have that in Portlaoise. And then on Saturday morning, I'm over in Portarlington, and we have a lot of the products over there as well.
Really? So it's the marketing, it's the direct marketing is what you're doing there?
Direct marketing to see can we get people on board in Laois to eat Laois, buy Laois, support Laois, serve Laois. That's the whole theory behind the food producers is buy local, sell local, produce local, and that's our whole aim. Mm. Yeah.
Less air miles, of course.
Less air miles, yeah.
Well, we've chatted about this over the last few weeks ourselves about how collaboration is the big word. So we've discussed maybe with Laois Talks creating programs as in instead of just knowing that, that where the jam is, it's about the whole, like from start to finish, how it's planted, how it's harvested, getting things like that. In other words, I think there's an opportunity for us to create like the Jeremy Clarkson to farming is coming in not knowing the question, or not knowing how it's all done. But by the time you're finished and you've watched the clip, you've took another appreciation to the food, saying, "Jesus, it's not as easy as just picking it off. There's a lot more to it." So what we're doing with Laois Talks as well is we're trying to team up with businesses and opportunities for Laois to kind of engage and create more collaborations and opportunities, and not just be you're a food producer, drink producers, but there's also like links off that from graphic designers to web designers to people are going to need accountants, people are going to need transport. There is a whole collective as such that can be created. And we're looking at that, like even with the hubs as well, with Paddy and the Web Mill and Bloom and things like that, where we're like the businesses like for incubation. They come in and they're mostly about, the computer and, what we're saying is, where I am in Vision 85 is we're putting in the cafe. So we have the barbershop, the hairdressers, we'll have a coffee shop in, but I'm strongly on Laois. Anything I'm going to be putting in there, whether it's potatoes to the bread, all that is going to be Laois. And the problem with a lot of businesses that come in, they kind of get afraid, saying, well, it's more expensive than what I can get off something else. It's not about the expense, it's about the customer getting the experience. It's what Bob said as well, like he's literally looked into SuperValu and saw, made in Laois honey, which was chatted about, like we set up Honeygate, like, but this,
last week.
Yeah, so there is huge opportunities. Like, and even we've discussed as well is why instead of having multiple locations around Laois, where you're at markets, things that is maybe 2 or 3 times in the year is to create like in a big event, but not just about food and drink, but literally bring in the rest of what other businesses are out there that people can see the experience of Laois. You know, your experience Laois from a tourist point of view, to a business point of view, to a food and drink, to education, training. Like, the future is the kids that are in school. Like, they're all doing this transition year, young entrepreneur and things like that. They're coming out with, like that guy you just discussed in Ballynakill with the water. They're coming up behind this, but they just need, a lot of people just need that direction, or, a base where they can actually just come in and get all the answers in one go, like, you know.
That's very hard to find. But like, you're expanding outside of Laois, so you're looking to get into the American market now, beyond where Laois. You know, if you look at this kind of small little county now, so you're going to be taking on internationally. How's that going to work for you?
Yes, well, the production is how we're linked in at the moment into production is a contract manufacturer.
And are you full capacity as well? Just thought like everyone else.
No, we're not.
Everybody else is full capacity.
No, well, we're the smallest of the small. We have a long way to go yet.
All right. Okay.
So in order to create brands, what we done was we engaged with a contract manufacturer. So for us that was the solution, because to create a distillery is you'd need a few more pound. Stainless steel is expensive stuff. David will tell you. Yeah. So it's
hard to get now as well, of course.
For sure, absolutely. But producing a product, back to the same old nugget. Producing a product is one thing. Can you sell it? The market in Ireland for our brands is a small market. So you need to look at where the market is. So it's the export market is where, if you want to grow, if you want to get bigger, because the big brands that are out there, they have taken a fair share of the market. But to move to the next stage, that's where you're after all the time. And to look at North America as our first. It's a thing that I know a little bit more about than any other country at this moment.
And is the liqueur business bigger outside of Ireland or in Ireland?
Oh, clearly outside Ireland. Outside Ireland, it's massive. Irish cream liqueur has and Irish whiskey and Irish poutine are what they call GI, geographical indicators on them now. So these are.
So poaching is bigger outside of Ireland than it is. There's a reversal.
No. Since it became legal, yes, absolutely.
Since you can put the word poaching on
now you have it, and it's really important stuff that the GI code is on it. Like we follow the technical data all the time to make sure that everything is perfect all the time. So when, no matter whether it's a food or a drink product in Ireland, premium is where we're at. We can't get into the cheap production of food, and the people now want premium and they love local. So people just look around. Now, one thing they can't get local is wine. After that, until the weather improves,
Ireland slightly further south for the wine.
No, you have it, yeah. But until it's just one of those things that people just like to do. They like to look for local products, and then with what has been talked about for so many years, the Irish diaspora, the Irish people abroad. And they look for Irish products. And these people that are abroad are also importer distributors. They're part of big corporate
If the demand
outfits.
exists somewhere else, we're here to supply it, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. The product is here. Yes.
And Jean, do you think there's a room for international... I said Jean again. I cannot believe I said Jean again. Helen, is there room for an international market in among your Laois producers? Do you think a lot of these guys will be able to push their market outside of Laois and Ireland?
Oh, absolutely, and that's core. You know, we're saying the whole time, Laois is small. Laois needs to clout bigger. We need to wear the jersey much bigger than we actually are. You know, everyone, and you said it as well. Laois is a small county, but it's not that small. If you need to push then above our weight, put our Laois jersey on, and go out there and push Laois as Laois. It's much bigger than maybe it is, but that's the way we need to expand.
And what about online business then?
Yeah,
is there something we can do with the online business here?
Well, maybe we could. Maybe that's the next step for the Laois food producers, go together and sell online. Now, it's interesting, we never sold online until COVID. And
is this your jams now?
That's our jams, because they would break, and we've had loads of breakages with distributors and that over the years. But now it's going really well, and it's selling online.
Right.
And we get we've got nearly orders nearly every single day online now for jam, which has never happened before.
You think people are going to the shops less? Like just not going to a physical shop? They want to sit at home and do the click, click, click and it delivers outside the door?
I think so. If you're a certain age, yes, I would think so. Yeah.
Well, people are more paranoid now as well. So you see, like the Dunn stores, they're gone into home deliveries. Aldi, Lidl, so it's all going to happen.
Yeah.
So in years to come, you'd be sitting there putting on your headset and you'll be able to virtually walk through and do your shopping, and an hour or two later it's at your door. That's the future.
I don't think so. I love going shopping and love talking to people and out talking and walking and, you know.
But so everyone's busy, don't forget. That's the thing. Everyone's busy.
I know, you need to talk. You need to see people.
Yeah, but that's starting to
People
come
is
back.
core.
That's starting to actually come back there. Like when they started closing the post office and things, and the locals are kind of giving out because that was their avenue for to converse with people. Now they're literally loving to go to these markets and all because they're chatting to the producer. They're engaging more, you know, and that literally was lost for a few years. And people say, no, it wasn't. And this is a typical thing with Irish people is, it'll be grand. It's not going to be grand because if we don't engage with people, know where the product is, how it, you know, the blood, sweat, and tears that's gone into it, you won't appreciate it. And that's what's going to, you know.
That
Yeah,
is
it'd be very
true.
hard to compete online purely from looking at a product, I think, for any of the producers that are here.
Yeah.
To just go to a website, see the product and go, yeah, I like the look of that, without knowing anything to do with the story of it or the people behind it, which I think...
That's what we're saying. Like, if you can create a website or like an identity on where literally you can show the time frame of each producer, what they're doing, literally an up-to-date, like from yourselves, like literally they put up their own video clips and all. You know, we're starting to harvest the oats and things like that. It's a real-life experience for the consumer as well. Like, it's not just a matter of going, we put it from here and we put it into a bag and the job is done. No, it's you have to kind of give the storyline, and that's what people are buying into now, you know.
Yes, it is. And
Traceability.
And Kevin is brilliant at it. He's, I suppose, the best of our producers at that online. I'm not. I'm from a different age group, so I forget the online business the whole time. But it is.
Shopping has changed. The big shop that people used to do once weekly has changed. It's now gone to several small shops, if you wish, per week. So people are shopping more in the local shops and the galas or the super values or whatever, and they're looking at alternatives. So you see how this craze started about making bread at home.
Yeah, banana bread,
in the
was it?
COVID.
Yeah, banana bread.
Brown bread, whatever it was, but it's just something that people
Oat bread.
got into. It's all about the oats. So if people get something moving, get interested again, it becomes trendy again. And people don't have to worry about supply. They don't have to.
But then there's other kind of shops as well. Like I was in a cafe the other day and they were selling art. They had art on the wall for sale. But besides the art stuff, they had a range of local things you could buy there that you wouldn't normally see in something like a Super Value or a Tesco or anything. But it's just sitting there on the shelf. So people are buying things differently. So when they're out having a cup of coffee or they're out having a drink or something, they can buy other things that aren't actually manufactured by the shop.
Did you see the latest craze they have at the moment is the vending machine for the milk? The farmers are
Yes.
doing it now. You can get your strawberry, vanilla, things like that. It's like there's queues of people going to it because they're paying the euro for the glass bottle. They're putting it in. They're getting, by the time they're finished, it's €5, but they're paying for the experience. And that's what farmers need to be is more into. Like innovation is going to be the biggest thing. Going, how do we add value to what we're doing? And the likes of that, there is a grand further up to nearly 70%. Like, and they're the sort of future. Like literally, when you can walk in nearly to the front gate of the farmer, pick off some meat off the counter, more or less, you know where the traceability is. Get your milk, get your bread, oats, whatever it is. It's all in these little. This is your for rural Ireland. This is your meeting pint as such. So your mini farm shops are situated around the place, and that's probably going to be a big drive in the next few years as well.
Yes. Yeah, and I would think, I totally agree with you because we see now with the little shop that we opened, it was only years ago I had a great concept. I was going to do the Divil and I was going to have a visitor centre in Ballypickens and showcase the jam and the jam being made and the history of jam making. And of course, when COVID came, then we decided, well, we'd have a farm shop. And we have all our local producers in that, along with and it is proven to be very successful. It needs to be bigger. That's the thing. So we have our shop that's too small now.
But you can never plan that. Like you build something kind of going, this will cater for us for a few years. But realistically, everyone here is expanding. Expansion is what people are, because people are buying into that concept now, and they're kind of going, that's where I want to get my bread, that's where I want to get my jam. I want to literally get into the car and go and experience that.
Yeah,
It's
and
also
we find from the camping, camping under the stars, they stay up there and they come back down after eating the Merry Mill porridge, come back down to us, and they have their morning coffee with a scone and some jam. And that's where I see the tourists coming in with Haywood Gardens. We're only less than 5 minutes from Haywood Gardens. We're not on the main road, which is, I suppose, a disadvantage. But having said that, you can still go on to Tim Ho and see the round tower in Tim Ho. So I would think that, when people come back into the country, it is an area that needs to be explored an awful lot more. If you had an itinerary that you start in Portlaoise and come out and you can do the bog walk and you come to me and have your cup of coffee, go on to Haywood and walk around and go on to Tim Ho, that there is, if there was a specific tours and routes, I think would be huge help as well.
It's also another revenue stream. I mean, if you're getting people coming into the place to buy things that are here, they wouldn't normally come to your place. They're doing other stuff. They're buying coffees, they're having jams, scones, the whole show.
For sure.
So it's about having as many income streams as you possibly can, not relying on one.
The blend of tourism, food and drink, it's key because it has to. One thing links to another, and from our point of view in Laois Taste, the offer has to be correct. We have to put the offering together, and that was where I suppose Laois County Council come in behind us and supported the initiative to try and get the offering correct and try and get the producers to come together, because we were all doing our own thing and we were too busy to interact. And this kind of umbrella kind of created it so that we could all come together, and hence that's why we're here today. So we can, but in blending all the producers and all the tourism offerings that are in the county, this will be key. This is the best kept secret in the country, because down in Kerry and Cork and wherever that they've spent nearly 100 years producing a brand and a product down there, which is very, very successful. And so down in Kilkenny and whatever, Laois, its time is coming about now. And so when people come to Laois, when they pop off the motorway or off the mainline rail that runs through the county, that when they come here, that they have something and they have loads to see. Now, COVID has a part to play, but it gives us a chance to straighten ourselves up and fly right, you see. So it will be here.
Well, hopefully it won't be the best kept secret very soon.
No, well, best thing as well is, like, since COVID and all, you've had so many lads converting horse boxes, and they're with coffee and food and sandwiches. So people are coming out, and like, they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't know there was a business in it. Like, is there the future moving forward for Laois? Like, is it to incorporate tourism more in food and create try a little, you hop in the car, you get your breakfast and your scone and all that with yourself, and then you kind of go to another place where kind of a summary thing where a pig in a spit and you get to taste the meat or whatever producers of Laois, and then you go to a Dunamore house and you can do a sit down dinner. But there is Laois, it's all Laois driven, Laois proven, all that is to create these packages that you're incorporating tourism, where you're getting to see the locations up over the Slieve Bloom, come back down, and then you finish off in the base and create like a package.
A package, yeah, and needs to be done maybe for a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day trip. To one end, like up in Port Tarleton, which I forget about, that's off up there.
Yeah. Split the county in three, like, just kind of.
Just exactly. Exactly. Without splitting it, so you can do 1 day up there, 1 day in Abbeyleix, and 1 day up the Slieve Blooms. You have a 3 day
but
tour of Laois.
Someone actually said it to me there recently that in Abbeyleix, I think it's after 4 o'clock, you can't get a cup of coffee or tea, only in the petrol station. Like,
getting G's.
You're getting G's, yeah, we're getting G's. I can't answer that, I'll be honest with you.
I just because one time there's about 200 motorcyclists literally pulled in, and they just couldn't get a coffee or a tea or even a little sandwich.
Yeah, we have loads of lads on bikes, that they be out on Sunday, especially on a Sunday morning. I was amazed the amount of people on bikes that come in and they're heading on to back up to Stradley and back into Portlaoise. Amazing.
Deadly. Let's hope it's not going to be a secret for the near future. Stick with us, because we're going to come back with more discussion right after this. Okay, so we're back again, and I've changed the table around again, but I'm kept by, I was going to say it again, and I was going to say it. I kept Helen beside me, but we've been joined by
Trudy from Experiencing Ireland. John Hayes, Laois people.
There you are. That's your team for right now. And what we're going to talk about now is the tourism, rather than the business of the products themselves, but the tourism aspect of bringing tourists in to experience Laois. So this is like your thing now. You really want this to happen, of course, the tourist part, don't you, Ellen?
Yes, I do, because I really think we need outsiders. I've always said, people come and they drive through Laois. We need them to stop, taste, look and listen to what's happening in Laois. That's really what we want to push.
What do you think will stop? What can we do, apart from the podcast that we're doing here, which is, of course, promoting Laois in every possible aspect? How do we get them off the M7?
Yeah, I don't put a big red flag and stop. I don't know how else we can stop them. We need to promote ourselves more, I think, and maybe the national papers. I know our local papers are really good, but we need to get maybe through to our politicians and all those, that have power and Bord Fáilte and, all those top people that can help us and put Laois on the map, as I would say. Because we can fly on from Dublin, and our vans go from Dublin, and the infrastructure that has been created over the last number of years has been brilliant. But it's great for us. We can deliver into Dublin, into Galway, and we're right in the centre. You on the motorway and you fly on, but we do need to stop them.
And isn't it amazing then we're part of the ancient East when it comes to the tourism and the stuff, aren't we?
Yeah, and we fit right into that. I mean, we're sitting in this building 240 years old and in the same family for 13 generations. So this is a prime location to bring a guest. And it's part of a Laois food trail. It really, really is. And what the customers that I bring in as a tour guide want to do is, a lot of them are diaspora.
These are premium customers,
Premium
right?
customers. Has to be premium customers. And they want, ecotourism is a big word at the moment, and ecotourism doesn't just mean that I'm giving them a cup of coffee in a recyclable cup. Ecotourism to them means that they're supporting the local industry, they're meeting the people who grow the products, who make that product, who put it on the table in front of them, so they can taste, see, smell, speak to the people, talk about it, take some of the product home, have lunch at the place. It's an entire experience, hence experiencing Laois and experiencing Ireland, because it has to be about the experience. For this county, I think it is. So I think where I agree with Helen on using the governments and using the bodies and the Ireland's Ancient East, but I'd like to see it being taken globally, maybe through the diaspora is the low-hanging fruit, and get it across, in particular to the States, or a lot of our demographic that's coming to the Midlands of Ireland are from the States. So to go for them first. We have the States, we have Germany, and we have Australia. They're our big customers coming here.
We need an airport in Laois.
We really do. Do you know what? We really do. We are best placed.
Just land them here.
When I take people in from Dublin, the first thing I do, as per their request, is get straight out of Dublin. They don't need to see, and there's nothing wrong with Dublin, says me in a Dublin accent. But
Dublin,
city is a city.
Dublin is not Ireland, though, is it,
No.
John? Though, is it
No.
Dublin? When you land in Dublin, you experience Dublin for a weekend, but that's experience in a big city. It's like flying to Berlin and thinking you've been in Germany. It's a very different vibe to the whole thing.
It's a very different vibe once you're outside Newlands Cross. But it's the domestic market. I take Trudy's point on board about the international market, especially the North American market. It's our domestic market. We need to get the message of Laois out there too. And I actually experienced this yesterday evening. I got a call. I was out at the Abbeyleix market, brilliant market by the way. Got a call, could I come in and interview the lead singer with the Bjorn identity inside in the Midlands Park Hotel? Oh, why is she in Portlaoise? Because their gig, the ABBA gig, is on the 2nd of January in Midlands Park Hotel. Why is she here? And my source goes, well, they had a show lined up in the north. It was cancelled. They were looking around, Googling, okay, we needed a place, hotel with a swimming pool, 3 hours from Belfast, Portlaoise. Ticked the box. But it was pure chance. They had to go looking, okay, for Portlaoise. Portlaoise and Laois should be up in their faces. I mean, you have 1.7 million in the north. It's a market we never think about. Why? It's 3 hours up the motorway. There's not a traffic light between Portlaoise, once you get on the motorway, and Belfast. It couldn't be easier. The same the other end of the country, Cork Kerry. Okay, Cork and Kerry, and we were talking. The previous speakers were talking about Cork and Kerry have their package there for 100 years.
They know what they're doing, right?
I would say Cork and Kerry people are sick to death of hearing about how great Cork and Kerry are.
If you get into Kerry, you're staying in
it's
Kerry,
oversold, it's overmarketed. We need to have Laois tourism. We need to have the Laois on billboards, in airports, in the ferry ports. This is us. We're very, very good at what we do. You'll have all these experiences. You have cool places to visit, wonderful food and drink to have and enjoy while you're here. But we need to put it front and centre in front of people's noses.
How do we do it, Trudy? What do we do? How do we get there? How do we actually promote Laois in a way that benefits all these suppliers that are sitting here at the table?
One word we've been using for weeks: collaboratively. Has to be collaboratively. We are a bigger engine together, and we go and we promote the entire place. Tourism is like, vernacular buildings. They belong in a county, so you can have vernacular buildings in Kerry or Cork or Clare, and they are thatched cottages with maybe tin or thatched roofs. Dublin is Georgian buildings. Here, we have a theme. It has to be about the people, has to be about the experiences, it has to be about getting them into places like Helen and G's Jams, where you can see the jam being made, taste all the local produce, and walk away with a product. But I really think we've got to we can use everything at our disposal and get it marketed, targeted at the States.
I do think as well, sorry John, like our televisions, our national broadcasts, why can't RTE come down and talk to us all? Why not have us on nationwide? Why not ear to the ground? A whole what's happening in Laois? Why not have something like that rather than to waddle off somewhere over in Galway where it's easy to do and more well known. That sort of thing.
You're right, Helen, on that. But I mean, there's a simple thing everyone in Laois can do. We can be ambassadors for Laois. So, for example, yesterday evening, did the interview, and then we sat down for half an hour. Well, John, where should I go? Mentioned you. I mentioned Haywood, the Slieve Blooms, Ballinacale, Abbeyleix, Doro, the Slieve Blooms, and I went through, go here, go here, go here, go here, because we know our own county at this stage. Okay, what the story is. So we can't have this attitude, send them to Kilkenny, or send them to Galway. No, we have enough to see and do in this county, and we have to be proud. We have to be proud of our own place.
We need to join them up, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's easy to point at these things and go here, go there. We need some way of making that a circle, if you know what I mean, completing that circle thing.
Working together,
It is absolutely working together, educating the locals, educating the nationals, and educating the internationals, and getting it on the map as the best place to stay in Ireland for visiting. An hour to Dublin, an hour to Galway, 2 hours to Cork, 2 hours to Kerry. We are best placed, and we're not as expensive as the city. There's
and
more
3 hours
quirky
to Belfast.
things to do.
Don't forget, that's a big market.
It is a huge market.
And we forget about it. I mean, it seems to be our blind spot down here for some reason. I just
it's
can't
true,
explain
because if you
it.
visit Belfast now, it's a metropolitan city. Like it's far bigger than Dublin. If you look at it physically, it's taller, it's wider,
At
it's
the
more
same
of a city
time,
thing.
it has a fabulous local feel,
Yep.
like what Laois has.
It's bloody cold though. It's very cold up there.
Yeah, but if you look at the news the other night, they had the street in Derry, in Derry.
Yes.
Why can't we just have something unique for a change and put ourselves out there as something different?
Do you feel that Laois then sets out to do something and
No,
then
I
kind
don't
of gets
think they do.
wishy-washy in the end?
Yeah,
of it?
I would think so. We're all over the place. I would use that term quite a lot. We're all over the place. We're not focused enough. We need to get more focused and more. And we need to all know what's in Laois. Not knowing, maybe there's something over there and there's something over in Vicarstown and there's something in Strabane. We need to know exactly what's in Laois, and everybody needs to know what's in Laois.
Isn't that the starting point? Really?
And fair dues to Kevin. Kevin does the Sun, the starting the longest day of the year and the shortest day up on the Rockedown. And it's a brilliant, and I think we should really showcase that. That's a huge event, but it's not getting either Laois or outsiders. And I think, to have something at the end of that whole day needs to be it's Newgrange, but we have it
A
here
festival
in Laois.
nearly.
Yeah, and I've been up there
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock in the morning. God, I knows what I was doing, but I think it's a brilliant event, and it's unique in Laois. And the picnic in Strabane is unique, but that's why we need to concentrate on a few more unique things
Isn't
in Laois.
that it? It is. We are completely unique. We are experiential, and we are definitely about the people.
Yeah, but the different producers, the people who have the offerings, have to collaborate.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I know, and I spoke about this at the podcast, or last podcast. A case in point of the miscommunication or lack of communication is, like, for example, we have 3 Christmas markets on today in 3 different villages in Laois. On the same day, the times are the same. There's an overlap.
My daughter rang me this morning, what market are you going to today? And I said, no, I'm going over to Strapper, over today to do a podcast. I'm doing no market today.
And
I'm all
they came
busy.
together, like John is saying, and planned the entire season, planned the month of December, and had those markets timed so that they ran consecutively, in one in the morning, one in the evening, but then also marketed together. You'd be sharing your marketing budget, you'd be sharing maybe like you guys do with the Laois Taste as a logo,
You can push people around, so you can't make people go to a market at 11 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or whatever. Then you can push them on to another thing. Some people will dribble away, they won't go. But even if our markets culminated in one big market towards the end, closer to Christmas, maybe coming down to the last week.
And in fairness, John Mulholland said that to me 2 years ago, that's before COVID, they were going to have a big food festival, and I said, yeah, I would be there to help and collab. And that's what we need. We need to showcase everything what's in Laois.
And to go back even on John's Belfast market, I don't know if anyone's been to it this year, but I've seen pictures from
It's
it.
fabulous.
Absolutely amazing turnout of local things and not local things. There's lots of things that aren't local as well, but it's massive. We could easily do that here. And I know Portlaoise, we always talk about Portlaoise because it's like the biggest town in Laois, but Portlaoise could cope with something that size at it easily.
And we have the
keep it up.
numbers. Yeah. We have the producers.
Yeah, and John Mulholland always said, down where the new fort, all down land there, to cover it all in and do a big day or a big whole weekend. I mean, that was on the agenda 3 years ago.
It was.
And it hasn't happened because of COVID, And maybe when maybe we may get used to COVID and trying to work around things. We really do need to keep going now instead of saying blame this.
We got to
blame
work
that.
with it now.
You have to work with it, I think, now.
Helen, I get the feeling COVID is thrown out there a lot by various agencies as an excuse not to do something.
That's true.
If it's happening, if there's a lovely market going on, Christmas market in Galway, the one in Belfast the same, why not here?
Yeah.
And we have to look at stand up to the agencies now, but we're a big county now, we've a big population. Why not us?
Exactly.
And put them on the spot, and just put them on the spot. We have the producers, we have the locations, we have things to see and do. With best of food and drink, we want to showcase. Call it whatever you want. The Laois Festival, Love Laois Festival, whatever. And we have to be strident about it and say, look, it's our time now. Laois, it's our time. Let's go and do it. And no more bullshit now.
Yeah, it's time we start behaving like the county we've become.
Yeah, let's go and do it and get it done.
Yeah, because we have all our branding. We have Welcome to Taste, Welcome to Walk, Welcome to our festivals.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, and they're all lovely logos, and we need to work on our. You're welcome to cycle, you're welcome to walk and talk, and do loads of activities in Laois. So we do need to push ourselves out there maybe a bit more.
We have the products.
Yeah.
So it's definitely time to start working together. And, if you're a councillor or you're a town councillor or you're a local councillor or TD or something, you want to be talking to these people because they're leaving you for dead now. They're starting to do their own thing.
Helen will motor on without everyone, whether he's with her or not.
Yeah, you're going to have problems. If you're not already subscribed to this podcast, please do on YouTube and on Spotify or any other outlet you possibly can. Thank you to everybody who joined on today and all the local Laois producers. There is links to everybody's outlets in the show notes attached to this. Join us again next week when we're getting closer and closer to Christmas now at this point, so we'll have to take a break eventually. But thank you very much to everybody for joining. Make sure you subscribe and we'll talk to you in the next podcast.
Thank you.